Hi there. In this video, I'm going to cover the basics of using landing pages within FunnelFlux. Now, if you want more direct help with setting codes and adding scripts and so on to landing pages for different systems like LanderLab, Convertri, or your own hosted landers, then check out our separate article on your guide to landing page hosts, where I kind of go through some actual examples of this. In this video, I just want to cover the very basics of how landers work and how you use them in the funnel builder. So if you go to the assets and then landers page, here is where you can actually add landers to the system. You can also do it from the create asset button here. So if I click create new, here you put the name for the landing page, which is whatever you want it to be, the category, which is optional, and the base lander URL. So this is typically just going to be whatever your lander URL is. Pay close attention to making sure that you're using HTTPS where it's possible, and that you are attentive to things like forward slashes and so on. So for example, you might have https://mylanderdomain.com/page1. I see quite a lot of common issues where people use HTTP when they should be using HTTPS, and as a result, their landing page system actually bounces to HTTPS anyway, and you kind of waste time on a redirect. So be mindful of things like that. Additionally, sometimes people will actually be loading this file, index.html, in the page one folder, but they'll put something like this without a leading slash, and as a result, their system will actually kind of go through a loop where it searches for page1.html, and then it looks for a page one folder, and then it looks for index files within the page one folder, and so on. Make sure that your URLs are accurate and exactly what you expect them to be. Okay, so besides that sort of blurb and little warning, for the redirect type, I would always recommend using 301 or 307. These are the basic simple redirect modes, which just directly bounce people to your landing page. This affects how FunnelFlux redirects to that page. It's not about the outgoing click when people go from this lander to somewhere else. It's about when FunnelFlux redirects to this lander. Given almost all landing pages are going to be owned by you, you should not use Ultimate Meta Refresh as a redirect mode here. For configure data passing, this is for if you want to pass data when you're redirecting through FunnelFlux to your landing page. In 99% of cases, you don't need to add anything here. You don't need to add data like country, click IDs from the traffic source, device types, things like that. All of the information that FunnelFlux initially captures and knows is always known. You don't need to pass it to pages in order to keep tracking it. But if you did have some code on your page that's, for example, calling out something like country or something like that in the page, then yes, you might add something like country and country name here, but that's completely up to you. It depends on whether you actually are using that. In most cases, you don't need to worry about this. The other tabs here are just informative for our action links and our JavaScript tracking, just to make it convenient to copy things. Now, when you get into an actual funnel and you're using these landing pages, and I'll take a test funnel here, you will add them either by right-clicking, going to Add Lander, and then picking from your categories and your list here. But the easier way is generally to click Add Nodes, and then search through your existing landers here by typing and filtering, and then dragging and dropping these onto the canvas. Once you have them there, you need to connect them in a flowchart-like manner to show the funnel or the sequence that users are going through. From the outgoing side of landers, you're going to want to create actions that connect people to the next step. These actions are basically your click-through events or your click-through actions, and you need to go to your landing pages and change the links to use our action links. You can use direct navigation in some situations where someone actually goes directly from page 1 to page 2 to its URL directly. That's more typical though when you've got a website, like an organic website that can't have some tracker interfere with the basic page navigation, or you have an e-commerce platform like Shopify where you can't realistically change those links. But in virtually all performance marketing and affiliate marketing situations, you're going to want to use these specific action links to navigate someone from page 1 to page 2. You can get those links in many places, also by right-clicking, Get Action Link, and getting this link here. You might notice this add default redirect parameters toggle here, which just adds some extra parameters. This isn't something you save or sort of enable, it's just kind of showing you what you could use. If you have organic traffic or you have a form submit, then it might be useful to turn these on and use that link on your lander instead. But keep in mind that these are defaults that our system can fall back on. As long as your tracking is done correctly, you have our JavaScript placed and you're using our funnel builder links, 99.9% of situations, these aren't even going to be used. But I just thought I'd mention them to avoid confusion. So once you've stitched things together, you'll want to edit these landing pages in whatever system you are using, and you'll want to, again, change your click-through links to be these and add our JavaScript tracking to the page. I can't stress this enough. Our JavaScript improves the tracking. It's needed for direct linking, but it's also very important for improving tracking robustness in general. So if you click the page here and go to JavaScript tracking, you can see our universal code once again, which is also on the settings and tracking code page. I get many questions every week from people who have a tracking problem, and then when I inspect their page and look at it, they haven't followed our sort of guidance and added this JavaScript, and it would have worked fine if they had added it. So save yourself the hassle, add this JavaScript. Once you've done that, you can simply click on the traffic node and go to redirect links to get the link to use for your traffic source, which is then going to go to this lander, which is then going to go to this lander and then through to the offer. If you need to direct link, you can click on the lander itself, go to direct links, and then you can pick your traffic source here and you can get your full direct URL to use. But if you're using systems like Facebook or Google Ads or Microsoft Ads, you might want to split in their user interface into this base URL and this URL suffix. Okay, the last thing I wanted to mention with landers, and this kind of applies to offers as well, is that we now have the ability to trigger custom events and conversions through the actions, through the funnel builder. So imagine you actually have this page here and it's a opt-in page. From your perspective, that opt-in might actually be an important event which you want to track as a lead or an opt-in in FunnelFlux. You can actually do that directly in the funnel builder by making this action here, this stepping or navigation from the opt-in page to the offer, which is going to be the result of a submit. You can right-click this, modify, and then you can say trigger a custom event. And let's say we use custom event 1. You could also trigger a conversion and you can give an optional revenue and transaction ID. But let's say we use custom event 1, we give it a revenue of 0.01. That's completely optional and we save. Now you can see here it says action 1 CE for custom event. Now if someone navigates the funnel and they click through this page and go to the offer, it's going to trigger that custom event. And depending on your traffic source settings, that could also be a simple way to pass an event through to Google, Microsoft, TikTok or whatever, whether it's a lead, complete registration, whatever it may be. Okay, that's pretty much it in terms of the basics of using landing pages in your funnel. If you have any questions, feel free to chat with us in support. In the next video, I'll cover how to work with offer sources and deal with the offer side of things.